your solution vis-a-vis the 800-pound gorilla? And how do you do that today? Because I'm sure it's an ongoing iteration, right?
Well, we took a fairly top-down approach with Bleco. We said this is a market where the number one product in this market makes more money than anything else online by orders of magnitude. I mean, Google makes just ridiculous amounts of money per page view compared to anything else. And social networks are sort of at the other end of the spectrum, and they get a lot of press and a lot of buzz, and they've got a lot of usage, but it's fairly worthless usage compared to people going to Google and typing in diabetic insulin pump or Palo Alto Audi or something like that, where you've got $20 to $100 clicks to advertisers. I mean, it's just fantastic. And then you've got zillions of people trying to make social networks and social games and things like that. And we're down to just 2 search engines in the market. And then you look at what they're indexing, the web. And the web has not stayed static. It's evolved considerably in the past 10 years. It's become, it's 1,000 times bigger. The composition has changed. It's full of a lot of temporal content. It's full of an enormous amount of spam that's actually been funded by the success of search engines. So it just seemed like you had a very rapidly changing environment, a business that made tons of money, relatively little competition, and a lot of people scared away by either the technical barriers to entry or the capital requirements. It's true you can't go build a search engine for $10,000. You can't do it on EC2 with $50 in rented servers. You need to go get hundreds or thousands of servers to go build a search engine. But I thought, okay, so $10 or $20 million in hardware, that's, okay, maybe that's crazy to go raise money to do that in 2011, but that was a typical investment in the late 90s. This should be in the sweet spot for what VCs are investing in. It's not building a chip fab. It's not the atmospheric railway, right? It's not, it's not drug discovery, not FDA stage 3 trials. That's an appropriate barrier to entry. Not everyone can go raise enough money to buy that kind of hardware to deploy this sort of service. So you won't have every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming to compete with you in search. In fact, we don't have any other startups competing with us in search because there aren't any. We're the only one. We sort of half joke that we are the number 3 search engine by default, since there's only 2, with Google and Bing. Bing powers Yahoo, and Google powers Ask, and there's just no one else. So to the extent we have a solution in the market, we're hopeful that we can go build some business there. And then what that product needed to look like, I mean, that really is relevant to the 800-pound gorilla discussion, because we put an enormous amount of thought into the positioning of the product. And again, proceeding in a top-down way, saying, okay, what if we copied Google? Is that going to be compelling? Well, Yahoo did that, and that didn't really work for them. It's got to be a differentiated product. And how could we differentiate it? Well, there's a lot of different ways you can differentiate something. Should we make a search engine for kids? Should we make a search engine for old people? Should we, what is it? And we went through a whole bunch of ideas. We actually worked with external positioning firms. We did market testing. We bring in people and put them behind a mirrored glass and ask them questions and stuff. So it was sort of a central effort for what we did to design the product to deliberately be different than the market leader, so that people would have some reason to use it, even though there's this big site that everyone's heard of and it's almost become a habit to use. You still have things that you can't do on that product that you can do on my product, and we've communicated that to the market. So we're getting some traction there.